Hey, everybody, this is KELLEN KASH, and today I am with me familiar, my cousin, Shavonne Powell. You guys may know her as BonBon out there in the street, you know,
Hey, everybody.
or the executive suites. And
Oh, my goodness.
and we were just talking phone conversation. She knows I'm recording it, YouTube, Anchor FM, everywhere that we can go. We wanted to talk about Coach Snoop Dogg. He has a new Netflix special on Netflix, of course. I just said that. And it's about him being a coach of his Snoop football league, which he's had for years. But it's kind of controversial. And if you don't know, go check it out. But, Snoop is doing some good work with a lot of cursing behind it. And BonBon, I wanted to get your opinion first on what did you think of the Netflix special with Snoop?
Well, I didn't even know that there was this Netflix special, but I got a glimpse of it because my boys were watching it. And it seemed, it was typical of what you would normally see on a lot of these football teams. The coaches are yelling, they're cursing, the kids are getting hit, possible concussions, and the coaches are still yelling. So I don't know. It just is kind of one of those things with football because it's such a physical, aggressive sport. But I mean, I have also been around coaches that don't need to do that who have effective winning teams. So,
Okay.
I agree with you. It's definitely controversial, just because of their approach to coaching.
I mean, that K-Mac, I thought somebody was going to come out with the full Mac 10 and don't talk to my child like that.
I probably would. Like, I would definitely have been that parent to say, can you watch your words? Can you watch your tone? But, maybe those parents are happy to have someone to talk to their child at all if there's no one else to. So maybe that's just what they sacrifice to get that mentorship. Is that really mentorship though? Is that how we want to mentor our youth?
You can't talk to my kids like that, or any kids that I know, because of course coaches do use certain language, but I mean, they were calling them every name. I was surprised some of the kids didn't come out with the ooh-ah, from the helmet, because I mean, some of the words, and if you have young kids listening, we'll try to keep it clean. We are good Christians like that, believers, but something may come out and slip because I mean,
Right.
the N word was coming out, MF, you fat, this and that, that alone. I think, one person I thought I heard in the background, I might have made it up, said, that's why your mama is a H-O.
Oh no.
Now, I'm making that part up, but
No.
but K-Mac was bad, but then I thought Snoop was gonna come in too and give his, kind of tone it down, and he was all in there in Texas yelling at the ref saying, you ain't gonna tell us how to talk. And I'm like, hold on, you in Texas, bruh. This is where everybody got
Right.
strapped. You're not at home. You're not in LA. You better check yourself. So I was
Right.
shocked.
I agree. I was shocked too. I was really shocked. And I was thinking that Snoop had like this greater purpose because of, the gospel song and all that. I'm thinking that, oh, okay, he's giving back. He's like going to be, a positive mentor to the youth in the community. And he started this league, like a football league, so it affects a lot of children in different communities. They're traveling and things like that. And then when I saw this, I just saw a small part of the episode, but I'm like, oh, well, that's not what I was expecting to see. But okay.
But I know I binge watched it, and so the producers and directors knew exactly what they were doing. Because I was like, this is shocking, and it had its good parts and its bad. As far as I think because some of those kids, I mean, if a kid would have killed himself off what some of what was said, I would not have been shocked. And I'm sure Snoop
Right.
is impacting those boys' lives in a positive way, but it's also giving them a negative, like it's okay for all of y'all to talk like this, because everybody can't go home and talk crazy like that. You get slapped and thrown out.
And I also think that it doesn't challenge them for next level communication. So it doesn't teach them how to use other words when you're upset, other words of expression. All we're doing is perpetuating the same problem. So if I'm being mentored by someone that just knows to curse and scream and yell when they're upset or frustrated, then that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, yeah, and you know the coping skills and all that, and the stereotypes. You know, Elijah.
Right. I think that's really the hardest part to watch too, because we all know how some communities feel about African Americans or black people. And, it doesn't help. It doesn't help the image.
Yeah, and you know, even the granddaddy who was taking care of the boy, I mean, even he was my end, my this, my that. Like, man, I know that, you know, words can slip out of anybody's mouth, but everything was just so harsh, and everybody's house isn't like that. And
Right.
it was shocking. It was shocking and good at the same time. And I really wanted to put this out here because we're going to have a lot of people from outside the culture give their opinion. I truly don't care if you're not in this culture and you're just, you know, you just found out that, you know, Eminem wasn't the first rapper and Macklemore wasn't the first rapper. I really don't care what your opinion is. We need to talk about our community because our kids are affected. And you say your boys were watching this. When did they stop, or start being able to watch stuff that was over PG-13?
Well, it's been some time because I like horror movies and most of them are over PG. So
Okay.
it's not necessarily the rating, it's the content.
Okay. And they 17 and 14. I'm just old and, once a baby, always a baby. So, you know,
All old school, right. Yeah,
we
I
were
think it's
watching.
important for our community to tap in and have an opinion about this. Not that anyone's bashing Snoop. I think that he's doing a great job, great effort, but there's always room for improvement. There's always room for feedback. And I think it's great that if our community gets involved and, just has an opinion about the overall topic of youth football or youth sports. I know that, concussions is kind of a hot topic right now in the sports arena. So I think it's important to have this kind of forum to talk about it and, share and see where other people are coming from too.
Now, what did you think talking about concussions? Because both your boys played football. A lot of the people who may know this or listen to this, they may have known about my records back in the last millennium in football. I was quite
Some
nice.
time ago.
Yeah. You
Mm-hmm.
know, went to school to college to play. Don't ask about
Uh-huh.
those stats. They don't exist. But
Or the school.
yeah, no, the school exists. Auto University exists. It just wasn't, you know.
Just not for sports.
Yeah, it was sport. That's the only way that 1.9 GPA actually got accepted. So, thank God for that. And a mama who, you know, pushed them to take me. But, you know, what did you think? Because, I mean, we saw when that big boy, I forgot his name, when he got hurt, it was like the second or last episode, he started screaming. I thought he was gone. Like, I thought it was a wrap. And I'm like, at 14, this is why I'm telling young boys, maybe football is not the lick. What did you think about how they played them, even with concussions and with, you know, get them back on the field? Because that's how we played. But I don't really condone
Right.
that now for the younger generation because I think I might be part-time crazy.
Well, and I mean, I think that says a lot about like how technology and medicine has advanced. We played like that because that's what we knew then. But now that we know more about how the brain is affected by these hard blows, then I think there should be some precautions put in place, which I know that they've done here in the football league that my son participates in. But, I think it's important that they take those type of precautions to sit the kid out and not let them play. Like, don't risk it. This is their youth. Like, don't risk it. But I also had the same opinion of like, I had a really harsh opinion about like concussions in football. They shouldn't play. Football's too barbaric. But I spoke with a doctor, or I sat in on a seminar with a doctor that was he was very instrumental in doing the research for concussions. And so his opinion was like, let's not eliminate youth sports or youth football, but let's prepare the youth's body. So he suggested that during the off season that they're taking fish oil and other kind of supplements and things like that to take care of their brain. So keep our brain healthy during the off season, and then if we encounter a blow during the season, to make sure that the coaches sit you out. And it's just a game at the end of the day. These coaches get so wrapped up in winning that, they could put a child's health at risk.
Yeah.
So I think that youth sports are great, but I think, we can do more than just saying, oh, it's a concussion risk, let's stop football. But there's other ways around that. They can take supplements. Fish oil is really good. You can get your brain scanned, and he can actually look at the brain and see how it's been affected, and he can repair it. The brain's very resilient, but the coaches have to be responsible enough to sit you out so that your brain can repair itself and not continue to do damage.
And that's the hard part, because for the coach to sit you out, you actually gonna have to be vocal. And in football, it was either you're hurt or you're injured. That old movie, The Program, really programmed that into our
Right.
mind. And like, if you're not injured, you're just hurt, and you were to play hurt. And I think about even the older school, coaches who used to play with no face mask. I mean, they would really,
Yeah,
they really push you, because they, who knows what they had.
because of what the game was when they played it,
Yeah. Yeah.
But now they have like really high tech protective gear, like the helmets are supposed to be like superior now, and there's things to protect them, but it's up to the adults on the field to not push them and make the right call when they get hurt. Like, why risk a concussion? Whether it's your top player or your worst player, you should always have their best interest at heart and not winning a game.
Yeah, we hope, and we hope that all coaches are looking out for their players. In that Snoop special, when I saw that boy screaming, and he came back, and I was happy to see him come back. And I know it's TV, so I know it's half fake, and the producers have to show what they need to show. But I was really feeling for that big boy, because one, he was being teased. Two, he had the size. But when his daddy, who is a former NFL player, came back in his life, I really started to get mad, like that grandfather. Like, how you coming for the good stuff? You coming during the high school, you getting ready to, let me show you some stuff. And to find out that he played the NFL, I was like, this is a deadbeat. This is a deadbeat. And I hate the deadbeats, because they hate when I call them a deadbeat. But what did you think about this man who just came out of nowhere and was like, oh, and I got to show you some stuff?
Well, I don't think we know the story. There's always two sides to the story, right? So yeah, he may have been a deadbeat, but he may have been a deadbeat by force. Like, you have to think about these moms and these women who will use their children as pawns and will keep their children from the fathers because they're angry or they want to control their lives. So I don't know. I don't know the whole story. I think we should get the whole story before we call him a deadbeat.
Okay, that grandfather, it seemed like in the show he had a good history of what was going on. Just talking to the man, like, you need to stay around. And I hear you. There are always two sides, but I don't know. That Snoop had to fly him out, because I was all in that story.
And maybe he had some other struggle. I mean, maybe he's struggling with addiction or, all his own self-esteem issues or childhood issues. Who knows? Mental health. Could be anything. Especially if the father had to say, or the grandfather had to say, stick around this time.
Okay, yeah.
What's going on with dude?
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. We don't know. I'm until I see that on season 2, what the real story behind it. Um, cause I felt the boy and I felt him, after football season, if it's not weights, I would do boxing as well. And, he just trying to get into shape. And not that I was big like him. Oh man, I wish I was. But, he was a real nice, sweet kid. And, I just,
Yeah.
but no, the show was good. The boy who got his mother died, that I was like, dang,
You was almost in tears by his story, huh?
yeah, by his story, and I know why he would have rage, and he need to get that out. And he was little, he's little and everything, and just trying to get out that suffering real quick. But that show, it was a good show. I just wish Snoop and K-Mac would have cleaned up their language around those kids because to show them
And show
something
him
else.
something different.
Yeah.
Right. Show him something different. Show him some next level. But maybe, I'm not, I mean, maybe Snoop and K-Mac don't really know.
And,
Maybe they don't know. Maybe they don't have the tools.
yeah, and that would be sad if they don't, but especially with Snoop's exposure, because sometimes I'll listen to like the Breakfast Club and I'll hear them say something like they don't know about certain things about racism, and I'm like, just because you have money doesn't mean that you've been exposed and have been educated, and I think that's a big
Right.
misconception in our community.
Right.
It's like, okay, people
Right.
have money, but they don't have education. They don't know certain
Right.
things. And it's sometimes when you're famous, they don't put you around those people. They want you just to be a clown and pony show. But,
Right.
but nah, it's, I wish like someone like a Nick Cannon, you can see a difference. And other artists who've
Yeah.
gone to school, you can see a difference in their reasoning and their
Mhm.
thought. And it's like,
Right.
I don't think school makes you a genius at all, but it gives you a certain level of thinking and helps
Mhm.
you, function in this world that you're trying to take over. So I'm glad. So you can see what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, like next level, like reaching towards challenging them to do something different than what we already know you know how to curse. We know you know how to curse. We know you know how to respond to someone yelling at you and cursing you out. Let's challenge them to learn how to communicate without the cursing and for someone to just talk to them and give them a demand and they comply. Try that.
And you know what? Snoop said something. It just hit me. He said something about his football coach, and he said how they would preach to him, and he's like, it's like I feel like I'm. He said, what did he say? He said he felt like he was channeling him or something, and I'm like, you weren't channeling him if he didn't use foul language and he was preaching. That's not what that's not what you're doing. You're giving some good.
Maybe he preached with curse words.
Now he said he would tell him about the scriptures and Snoop didn't say that he was pushing any scriptures, whatnot. And the only reason he should have been is because he's making money now in the gospel arena, because the gospel arena is full of devils too that'll let anybody come in who will make them $1. I did another video on that, folks. You can check in YouTube. I just put one up about Snoop and his gospel album, because Snoop could do a gospel album if he wanted to, but your outer works need to show that, if you're going to take money from the church and target the church, your outer works should show I'm at least trying to clean it up on the outward. What you do at home, and that nobody knows what anybody does at home.
Right.
We got some
But
pastors
how you
that are,
represent the church publicly,
yeah,
I hear what you're saying.
you're in a
You
church
should
robe.
represent the church publicly in a certain way. Right.
Did you see him in a church robe?
I saw a clip. I didn't see was there a performance? Because
There
I didn't
was
see the performance.
the
I just
performance.
saw the commercial.
Yeah, there was a performance at the gospel Super Bowl party, and we have to ask ourselves, why does the gospel have to have a Super Bowl be at the Super Bowl party, doing everything that the world does? But that's a whole nother
Because we
video.
want to watch football too. Don't start judging people because they want to watch football and have a party around the Super Bowl. We got to live too. We ain't hermits.
No, but you know what? You know why that's a problem? It's because Snoop who dragged Bow Wow, and Bow Wow got dragged into it, were beefing with Trump about all this stuff that Colin Kaepernick and how they support him. Well, the real support was in the boycott.
Mhm.
We needed support on the boycott. And if you can't
Right.
do that, and you out here, it's just like any boycott. Right now, when we boycott stuff, it's like, it's silly because we all don't come together. If we'd all come together, it's like the bus boycott back in the day. Everybody joined that
Mhm.
boycott that we know of, at least. That's how they pushed the history.
Right.
That's why change was made. And so,
Right.
in individuals, if you're not a public figure and you didn't boycott, that's your personal choice. I'm not judging,
Mhm.
because I know Joel was all up on the football. But that's your personal choice. But when you're Snoop Dogg and you're talking about, I support Colin Kaepernick and all this stuff, yo, how you support him when you didn't boycott? He still doesn't have a job. What are your thoughts on
Yeah.
that?
Right. Right. I mean, I agree. But what were some other ways that he showed his intolerance? Because I don't think you necessarily have to join that specific action to show that you're upset about the racial injustice. So some people chose to not salute the flag. Some people chose to sit. Some people chose to take a knee to show their support. So what did Snoop do to show his support? That's what I would like to know. Like, did he do something else to show that he supported Kaepernick, or did he just say he supports him? Was it verbal support,
Well, it was Twitter
emotional
support.
support?
Twitter
Oh,
support
Twitter support.
that we know of. For all we know, Snoop could have said, "Hey, let me give you a couple dollars," and it could have been a couple people who said, "Hey, Colin, we're going to replace your salary for what you're doing," because that's what the community should do. Just like when Muhammad Ali,
Yeah, I agree.
let's put a couple dollars together, because you basically stopped your career for us. Um,
Right,
just like
right.
Muhammad Ali, just like Dick Gregory. Dick Gregory, when he died, they had to take a collection just to bury the man. That's why it took a month to bury him. And that's Dick Gregory,
Mm-hmm.
who stopped making money back in the 70s to support us. And so just
Mm-hmm.
putting out a tweet. Now, what people do privately, we don't know, and it's none of our business. But when you're at the gospel Super Bowl pushing a gospel, that just bothers me, because I'm thinking of all the artists in the gospel that would have loved that spot, that could have changed their lives, who are doing real ministry, and you just step up
Right.
in there. I remember, and I said this in another video that I did, that when No Malice came from Cliff to the gospel arena, he really came with a genuine heart. He wasn't trying to jump on every stage. They wanted to put him on every stage, but he took his steps to get right on the inside before just, I'm gonna tell y'all what it is, because he really had a change. He really saw the future wasn't bright in the hellacious deeds. And I can't judge anybody. I got too much dirt on my hand. And if you catch me in traffic and follow me too close, you don't know what's going to come out. But I'm just saying, just saying.
Right. I hear what you're saying. I definitely hear what you're saying. I mean, I can appreciate that. As a believer myself, I definitely want to, when I represent the church out in a public forum, then I make sure that all my I's are dotted and my T's are crossed, right? Because the whole purpose of being a believer in a public forum is to win other souls, is to win other believers. And I don't know if I'm necessarily going to win other believers if I am smoking weed on every video and cursing kids out on the football field. I don't know if people will believe like Christianity is where they should be if that's my example.
Yeah, yeah. And Christianity, I mean, it's a whole topic of, of that. We could go to the scriptures, and we could pull up a Geno Jennings sermon, but you ain't trying to hear
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, we can do that next session.
yeah, yeah. But when he was talking about his role model, I mean, he had the right guidance. So what got him there. Snoop talked about how he had a job at Lucky's, and you can't get a job at Lucky's cursing and doing all this stuff and making this money. You know, we really have to teach our boys. What I find is there's some things that daddy didn't tell them. I almost want to have a podcast based on that, which your daddy should have told you, because you got grown men who just really don't know how to treat kids, their kids or anybody else's. And that's kind of scary because you can't really let your kids, go everywhere. I had a father
Right.
tell me last week, he said, hey, when your child comes to our birthday party, you could just drop them off if you want at the play area. I said, oh no, daddy, daddy will be right there watching every move.
Right.
And they were cool people, real cool, real cool couple, whatnot. But, yeah, it's just that
We're not doing that.
we,
Right. We're not doing no drop-offs.
no drop offs.
Well, I mean, because you have to set a standard for your children, even though you recognize they were cool people, trustworthy people. It's not that you didn't trust them, but you want to set the example for your daughters. You don't want to set the example like daddy's going to drop you off with strangers, because then they'll rely and put too much trust in strangers when there should be some level of restraint. So I think you have to kind of show your kids that standard. And if they don't have a father, if they didn't have a father, then where would they learn that standard? And that's what's going on with our youth. There's a lot of kids being raised without fathers. So they're growing up as men, not really knowing how to be fathers because they never had an example. So they don't know how to set that standard.
And if we're totally honest, all the way, it's a lot of people growing up without mothers too, even though that might be the person paying the bills. But parents, some people, I see them and I let them know sometimes it's not parenting. Like, you putting your kid in front of the TV is not parenting when you haven't given them some good game to survive off of in the real world. And that's what the parenting is. If I can just leave you in the future somewhere and you can survive and you won't be, busted and disgusted trying to get on somebody's pole or in their Cadillac, getting with some
Right.
rapper with rainbow hair from New York, like,
Right. Oh my
he's
gosh.
hardcore now.
Oh my gosh, he drives me crazy. Oh,
You know, I mean, we're talking
the
about
kids love him though. They love him though. I gotta respect his hustle, but
oh man.
yes, he drives me crazy.
Yeah, the hustle is real, but I just think, I had some kids pull out about 10 stacks at Neiman Marcus on me a few months ago in Bellevue because I said, oh man, I like to see some diversity up in here, some black folk. And they pulled out 10 stacks, some East African, kids. And I thought, man, if this was 87, if this was 97, if I'm being honest, if this was 2007, I would have came
Your
up.
response would have been a little different, right?
Yeah. And, I'm 200 pounds full of muscle right now. And they were about 170 pounds combined, pulling out 10 sacks saying we got money. Like, who does that? Like, we got money. We an
But that
unproductive.
restraint that you demonstrated was the example of a standard that you were taught, that you were raised in. You don't take other people's stuff. Now, even though it would have crossed your mind in 87,
And 90.
that's not your standard. It's not
Yeah.
your standard.
Yeah. Nah, and I was never in all truth, I never stick up dude or anything like that.
No, you weren't.
Yeah.
You weren't and you are not. It's
Yeah.
just not in you.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be, but it's more for those who are, it's more creative ways to get money, especially nowadays. I mean, you got Bitcoin,
Oh my goodness.
Litecoin, you got too much stuff to be trying to get some side hustle and break down a zone and an O to break it down.
And you know what I notice about people who like take and have and live like this, I don't want to say criminal lifestyle, but who don't do things the legal way necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
That come in, Jojo. That they're so creative and they're so smart, and it just baffles me that they would rather take the easy route and like steal or sell drugs or do whatever, instead of like tapping into that creativity and their intelligence and doing something of substance.
Okay.
But again, was
Yeah.
that ever their standard? Have they ever been shown that? Did anybody ever praise them for how smart they were or how creative they were?
And that's
I
where
don't know.
we're going to end on that note, because if there's anybody that y'all know who's in that criminal lifestyle, I didn't give BonBon's resume, but she's worked with many a youth and troubled children, and so have I. But if you want to know how you can get out of that lifestyle or get somebody out of it, I want you to send an email, Kellen Cash,
Tap in.
yeah, tap in Kellen Cash at ColemanPRFirm.com, and it's all in the description box, and it's in the about section. Ask a question, whatever, inbox, however you need to inbox, and you can connect to either one of us, and we can show you how to get them out of that. Because I always think criminals are geniuses the way they play the system, but that's a whole nother
Oh,
video.
they are.
That's
Yes,
oh,
they're so smart.
don't give them too much. The views
Mm,
trickle in little by little, and audio and all that good stuff, but we can talk about that on another video. And we talked about Snoop. We're not hating on you, Snoop. Um, you know,
Not at all. I think he's doing great work. I think he's doing great work,
yeah, he's doing,
but it could be better.
yeah.
There's always room for better.
Well, BonBon, I thank you for taking the time with me to talk about this.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate that you even care about my opinion and my thoughts on the subject.
Oh yeah. The mayor of Sacramento, future mayor of Sacramento, man. Official or
Thank you.
unofficial.
I'm trying one life at a time.
All right, y'all. We're signing off. Like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Hate too if you don't have a life. It's all good. Peace.